Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Scott Sinclair faces a race against time to be fit for Celtic in their League Cup final against Aberdeen on Sunday. This, of course, after he came off in the defeat to Barcelona in the Champions League last night. Aberdeen's Graham Shinnie is confident the Dons can cause an upset in the final on Sunday at Hampden, and Mark Warburton is gearing Rangers up for three big games coming up in the Premiership. That's just a few of the talking points on offer, and I'm delighted to say, alongside Ruffy and myself, our bootroom guest finally is Hamilton's Ali Crawford. Ruffy, we've been on at him for many a day, but finally we've managed to get him in the studio.
Yes, fantastic. Every year for us, we're always talking about him, but it's good to get him in the studio just to have a wee chat.
Yep, and let's not beat about the bush. Which club are you going to join, Ali? I'm joking. We're delighted to see you. Of course, 3-3 against Hearts in midweek there. I went down to New Douglas Park to see it. Yet again, you guys always seem to take lead, can't hold on to it.
Yeah, it's frustrating to say the least. I wish I could tell you our problems, try and solve it, but I really don't know what we can do to hold on to a lead and get the 3 points that we deserve.
Yeah, and looking at your league position, when you consider the way you played against Hearts, I mean, Hearts are a team, I tipped them for second. Whether that's going to materialise or not, I don't know. When you consider the football you played against them, that must give you guys hope that you'll be climbing up that league.
Yeah, it's not as if the performances have been bad. We've been playing well, creating chances and scoring goals like we did in Monday night, but it's just the defensive aspect, they holding on to a lead that we just can't get the formula right.
Yeah, okay, we're going to talk about Hamilton in detail a little later in the programme. Let's cut to the chase on last night. First of all, Ruffy, in the end Barcelona prevailed by 2-0. It was a masterclass again in movement. I mean, their first goal was just a stroke of genius.
Yeah, I mean, it's quality all over the park, even defence, midfield and up front. We always talk about the three up front, but if you really took your eyes off of them and looked at everybody else in possession, and Ali will probably appreciate it more than anybody else, the movement off the ball, when somebody's in a tight position, there's always somebody there, there's always an out ball, and even if it's 10 yards or 30 yards, they seem to have vision all over the park.
Yeah, well, you more than anybody, Ali, we always talk about your technical ability. I mean, your thoughts on Messi, Neymar, Suarez, that's just three of them. The whole team looked comfortable on the ball.
Yeah, personally for me, Busquets, I rate him very highly. He doesn't seem phased when given the ball in tight situations. He always seems to have a pass, and the movement around him is just out of this world.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Barcelona. Celtic, obviously, the manager Brendan Rodgers after the game, keen to impress everyone who would listen, that Celtic are indeed improving.
Supporters at the end, I think they can see that the players gave everything tonight. I think what you look for, but we obviously want a result that we could take into the last game. But overall, from a coaching perspective, we're looking for performance, and the performance showed improvement, which was vital. And I think if you think of the first game we played against them, the game tonight, I thought we restricted them to very few chances. They always have the quality, but I always felt for large parts that we were in the game. And obviously there were certain moments in the game where we need to utilise. I thought we broke forward well at times in the first half with good spells, but just failed to maybe work the keeper so much. Second half we pressed again the game well, and at 1-0 we've got a big chance in the box. We've got another chance with Cal when we set up, we win the ball, but it's just those wee moments of quality in the final third that can make the difference. So they go up the other end and get a penalty. So, but the players kept going, they kept working, kept fighting, and overall I was proud of the performance and what they gave to the game.
I was listening to various pundits last night, Ruffy, saying, do you think he'll be satisfied? I don't think he will be satisfied, Brendan Rodgers. I think he'll look and say to himself, I can see where Celtic are, and this is the gap where they have to try and get to. I still maintain I think they're 3 or 4 players short, and I'm sure Brendan Rodgers will be looking and thinking the exact same thing to take them to that level.
Yeah, we're looking at players that can strengthen. I think the biggest disappointment would be the Borussia game at home. I think he will be, in hindsight, look at that game and see how crucial it was. But I think the players themselves will learn for the experience of playing against these teams and the players, and that's where he'll get the benefit next year. I think the players will be really determined to do better. But I think the other thing is, I think Brendan Rodgers will be disappointed they're not in Europe. At least Europa Cup, just to give them more experience to play against other teams. So I think that would be the biggest disappointment. But I agree with them, and performance-wise, they have improved, and I'm sure they'll take that on next year.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking and raving about the Barcelona players. Are there Celtic players there that again impress you, Ali? That if you come up against them or you see them in Champions League football, that you're impressed with them?
Yeah, I think certainly Moussa Dembele has started the season very well. He's been scoring for fun for Celtic and for the France under-21 side. So there is a couple of players in there that are better than Celtic and will probably move on in the future.
Yeah, of course, glad you mentioned Dembele, because Brendan Rodgers was talking about him. He did have a gilt-edged opportunity to get Celtic back in the game.
Looks an easier chance probably than what it is. The ball comes in, there's not a lot of pace on it, and he's having to generate the power on it. He'll be disappointed, as I'm sure Moussa will be looking at it again. But it's sort of behind him, and he's having to generate the power on it. But with 1 or 2 other chances as well, with a wee bit more composure and being clinical, we could have scored.
Well, just in case anybody was thinking he's leaving, Dembele says that he'll be there for a crack next year at the Champions League. That is, of course, unless someone comes in with an offer that they can't refuse.
Yeah, that's true. I think Celtic, are realistic. We saw it with Nyama. When these big bids come in, sometimes they just take the money, and I'm sure it'll be the same. I mean, 500,000 for him. A young player who's learning a lot, and again, he is improving game on game. But I agree with Brendan Rodgers. That was a big moment last night, and I'm not criticising him. I have to say, if he had been a Champions League striker, that'd have hit the back of the net. That's the difference between being in the big clubs and being just a young player learning his trade. But I'm sure it'll come, and the more experience he gets, he'll probably tuck that away any day.
Yeah, well, his teammate Eric Ziachenko said that he feels as if the side has got something to build on.
I think performance-wise, it was much better than the other game away in Barcelona. So I think even though the result is pointless, but the performance is something that we can build up on. Why they are the best players in the world, and that's why we always want to compete with them, because it's a learning phase, especially for us defenders. So sometimes they're just too good. But again, we will do everything we can to prevent them from scoring. But sometimes they're just that fraction better.
So the overall results in Group C means Celtic will not be playing European football at the start of 2017 at Manchester City, Barcelona. As we expected, in the top 2 positions, here's the table, Ruffy, and Mönchengladbach in the end get enough to get into Europa League football.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it was the Celtic game at home was the big one. They just never performed, and I have to say Borussia did. But it's something they can learn from. That game was pivotal. I think when you look at all the fixtures, that the 2 back-to-back games were always going to be crucial, and unfortunately Celtic never did it at home.
Yeah, sometimes it's very difficult for clubs to get a wee feel for it. I imagine that's something that, as a professional footballer yourself, Ali, you want to try and test yourself at different levels and move up a level to play better players week in, week out.
Of course, I think every professional football will say the same. You want to play at the highest level possible. And for Celtic playing in the Champions League, it gives them a great taste of playing against the best players in the world like they did last night, and hopefully they can improve next time.
Yeah, let's have a look at the overall results then for the last 2 nights in the Champions League, because it's got that familiar look about it, Ruffy. As far as Tuesday night's fixtures are concerned, that scoreline is screaming out at me. Borussia Dortmund 8, Legia Warsaw 4, the highest scoring European tie in Champions League history, and defence is not on top in that one.
Yeah, I think it's a stadium you would want to be in if there's 12 goals. You know, it's a tremendous atmosphere in there, and I'm sure both sets of fans enjoyed it.
Yeah, here's Wednesday night. There's the overall results. Bayern Munich losing to Rostov, and there's Atletico Madrid. Ruffy, your tip to actually win the Champions League, you've put the bet on.
Yep, I think they're a very difficult side to beat. Not the most adventurous side or entertaining side, but I think they'll be there or thereabouts.
Okay, who's the other team you've gone for?
Again, PSG, as I do every year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something French about Ruffy in the background that we can't quite work out. So, rather than just put his money in the fire and burn it, he's decided to go for Atletico Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain. Don't hold your breath on them winning the Champions League. You never know. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our boot-room guest is Hamilton Accies player Ali Crawford. Delighted to have him here with us. We'll talk Hamilton Accies shortly. Of course, we've been looking at the Champions League football. I know, Ruffy, you picked Paris Saint-Germain, Atletico Madrid. Who do you think is going to win the Champions League, Ali?
I still think Bayern Munich have still got a great chance to win and go through. Probably them Barcelona final would be a good prospect.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that, Ruffy, because we've had too many Real Atletico finals. I'm not happy with that.
Yeah, I think they were a bit drab the last time, you know, obviously, but Ali's right. If you get the two teams in there, it'll be a fantastic spectacle.
Yep, sometimes when you get to a final, if you can score a winning goal, if you can be part of a winning team, you can make yourself a legend. I know a number of Aberdeen players have been talking about becoming part of the Aberdeen folklore and history. If they can defeat Celtic in Sunday's League Cup final at Hampden, Graham Shinnie certainly believes they're capable.
You'd be wrong not to be a little bit nervous, but I think with the experience of the cup final that I've had, and even the one that I've lost back in 2014, I think it will benefit you. I don't think the nerves would be as bad as maybe what they were that day, but I think nerves is a good thing for everyone. I think it's good to have that, and that brings excitement as well for the game. I know that the team have got it in them. Like you say, Celtic have started the season really well. But I think for us, preparation-wise, the last two games have been perfect. We've played really well. All the boys are high in confidence going into the game on the back of scoring 3 goals as well is brilliant. So it makes to be a good game. They're in good form. Confidence is high in our camp, so it makes to be a really good game.
Are they capable of it, Ali? You've played against them. Hamilton Accies have defeated Aberdeen this season.
Yeah, it was a close game. You know, we got an early controversial penalty and held on for the win. But I think they'll give Celtic a good game. You know, Celtic have had a hard game last night. Their fatigue might come into it the second half of the game, but I think it will be a close affair. Yeah,
it's certainly got the makings of a good cup final. I forgot all about the fact that Graham Shinnie was part of that Inverness side, and possibly one of the worst League Cup finals I've ever had. The unfortunate seat in the stand, Ruffy, for 120 minutes and then penalties.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen are capable. I just feel that every time they get to a final, they don't do themselves justice. You know, even in the last round against Morton, they come into the finals with great form, but when they get to the final or the semi-final, they don't seem to produce that form. They still won the game, obviously, against Morton, but it wasn't the kind of form they were playing in the league, and I don't know what it is, sometimes stage fright or just nerves or whatever, but if they turn up, and all the players turn up, you know, I'm talking about the big players turn up, Hayes, McGinn, even McLean, obviously Rooney, and if they play Stockley, they've got a chance. They've got great players, but as Ali said, that's what they'll be hoping. They'll be hoping, obviously, Sinclair doesn't make it. They'll be hoping there are wee niggling injuries in the Celtic team, but it's Aberdeen that have to turn up to win this game.
Yeah, I think Scott Sinclair will be assessed on his hamstring over the next few days to give him every opportunity to try and make that final. Okay, moving on, there's football over the weekend. Not too many games in the Premiership. Of course, the Scottish Cup kicks in over the weekend as well, and you can join us on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. We'll keep you up to date with all the goals as they hit the back of the net in the domestic situation, in the league and in the the Scottish Cup as well. Of course, Ali, you guys are on your way to Ross County. This will be your 201st game for Hamilton Accies. It seems like you've been in that side for 16, 17 years of age. It's incredible.
Yes, I've been there for 10 years now, so I've established myself as a regular first team player now. As you said, it's my 200 start against Hearts on Monday night, so it's good to get the experience, and hopefully we can go up and give Ross County a good game.
Are you a more confident player now? We've always known about your ability, and people are raving about that. For the last 2 or 3 years as well. Are you a more confident, more rounded player? If someone was looking, what are they getting in an Ali Crawford now?
Well, I think I've added more goals to my game, especially this season. I've got 7 so far, and I'm always good for an assist. I scored 1 on Monday and assisted 1 on Monday, so I'm a creative player. I'm not feared to get stuck in about it as well. So I'm an all-round attacking midfielder.
Yeah. Does it frustrate you, or you get slightly hacked off with people who think, oh well, nobody's taking a chance on Ali Crawford because of your slight frame, rather than looking at the overall ability, which most of us certainly do?
It is. You could say it is a wee bit frustrating when folk overlook your technical ability and go on size and stature. But it's something I've had to deal with, and hopefully in the future that my hard work pays off. Yeah,
I think Barcelona are the perfect example of that. You get players, if they've got the ability, they're in the team. I know, Robbie, it's difficult to ask Ali, from a player's perspective, he's still got a year and a bit on his contract, but Hamilton are not the type of club who stand in the way of players if they can get a better move, and obviously they get a bit of compensation for it.
Yeah, we would like to think obviously service comes into it, and we've just discussed there that Ali's been there a long time, and there are other players have come and gone. I'm sure Ali's time will come, but I'm sure the club itself are a good club to be with. Every time we have a Hamilton Accies player in here, they just talk up the club. It's a great environment, great people who run it, and it's a joy to go into training, and that's good from a football player.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a bit of Paul Scholes in you as well, Ali, because you can't tackle. Boy, were you a lucky man on Monday night. I thought you were for a red card, did you?
Seen it back now, I think it was a fair challenge. I've went in and won the ball, and I have looked it back, and I've only went in with one leg. So folk are saying it's a two-footed challenge, which it wasn't. So I'm happy with the way I've won the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, from our perspective, we look at Hamilton Accies, and I make no bones of it telling you, your man there has tipped Accies for relegation again. I think this is the 5th year in the trot. He just thinks Accies are going down. Robbie, every time we bring it,
it's basically because the resources, not the players. Because we know what the players do. We know the players all fight for each other, and you see them even if you're in the stand watching them. It's a great ethic that they've got. It's brilliant. But I just think that they're in there with everybody else that's in there, and sometime sooner or later, I hope it's no because Ali's here, but I hope it's no. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see anybody getting relegated, but
just keep his league the same forever.
No, it's a bad point.
Yeah.
Anyway, if Ali comes out with us, we'll fill him up. Come out with us for a couple of weeks. we'll put a wee bit of weight on
exactly. You'll not lose your touch. You'll just not be able to get to the ball. From your point of view, I mean, I think the word on this is basically, you've been 10 years at Hamilton Accies, you're scoring goals. Is this the best you're playing? Is this the point where you think, if somebody's looking at you, you obviously want to play at a higher level?
Of course. I want to challenge myself as much as I can, and if that means moving to a higher league or a different club, then so be it. But I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. If folk are coming to watch and they like what they see, then they'll need to contact the club we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, well,
have you ever thought about just scoring a normal goal rather than a 20-yarder or a 25 curler into the top corner?
That's a good
just
point,
like normal
Ruffy.
players.
Yeah, absolutely. If you could score a scrappy rotten goal, Ali, maybe somebody will have a look at you instead of these rakers. Anyway, we wish you the very best of luck on that. Just before we go, Ruffy, a couple of quick points. John McGinn, 12 weeks out for the Hibbies.
It's a bad one, a really bad one. Obviously I was surprised when he was out there and then he played that game at the weekend, but I'm sure the medical staff there knew what they were doing, but it is a sore one. Let's hope it's not. Sometimes when you throw it out there X amount of weeks, sometimes it's not, and let's hope he can recover, because he'd be a massive player in the running.
Yeah, and the other thing I was sad to see, Henrik Larsson quit as Helsingborg. I think he's taking the rap for Helsingborg being relegated.
Yeah, I think he'd be upset as well with the circumstances after the game, with his son sort of getting attacked after it. That's not a thing you want to see in the game, and that'll be in his memory as well, but I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Yep, not happy about it, Ruffy. I'm taking my Helsingborg shirt down off the wall now. That's it's getting bombed out completely. Last point from us, Ruffy. Fingers crossed Ali continues to play at the best of his ability for Hamilton Accies, and you just never know. Someone might come calling and he'll get that chance to play at a higher level. No disrespect to any of the Accies boys there listening. Great to have Ali Crawford on the show. It's a lesson for us all. If you don't succeed at first, just try again. We finally got him on the programme. From Ruffy, myself and Ali, good night.